Assume you guys can hear me.
Yes.
All right. Well, good morning. Welcome to the start of week 4 in IT254. It's been a interesting few weeks for me, but I hope everybody is making progress in their class, and that I've seen a lot of good productivity and a lot of good work from people. So I'm hoping that this continues. We have this week and next week as left in the class. We're now past the 50% mark, well past the 50% mark. I will update the grades from IntelliPath the students are done with this class. Any questions that anybody have had thus far in any of the material that we've talked about up to this point that you would like to bring to forth now? I've answered a couple of different questions inside of IM already. Okay. I don't see anything in chat or in. Okay. Today's stuff we're going to go over is a bit on pivot tables and charts, and how to create a pivot table, and what it can be used for that, and when you use how to make various usage of data tables within other systems. Like, I mean, I could do it as an OLE within Word, or I could use it as expanding of a table that's created by Word, which are two different processes. An OLE we'll go over in a little shortly, but that's today's agenda for today. I am going to continue to accept old homework, so if anyone wants to go back and spend the time not just working on Unit 4 stuff, but I will go ahead and just give you all one more week or so to go back and do all of the previous work as well, so that you can collectively improve your grade if you wish by going back and getting caught up and doing the stuff that may have been accepted previously but not as high of a grade as possible. Sorry. All right. And beyond that, there's a discussion board for this week is due. The IntelliPath Unit 4 is due this week, and of course, if you're not participating in this live chat, you can always go back and provide feedback of this week's live chat for extra credit. So. We saw a reduction in the number of students, partly because of two things. One, just we had one person just drop out because they withdrew on their own, and then a couple that withdrew from lack of activity by the system. So we're down to 36 students from 39 now. Make sure that you do send me questions either in IM or in CTU through email. You'll notice that I sent out one or more IMs yesterday to each person. Apparently, I am being graded against the number of IMs I send to people, as I've learned yesterday, or learned earlier this week. So I will endeavor to do a better job of communicating with you guys through IM. This is a burn down chart that shows how the hours have been used so far in this class towards learning. It's useful to know that how people have been progressing. So the majority of the class is now done 2 and 3 pretty effectively. So, and that's reflective in the grades. All right, so charts are a good way to summarize large amounts of data. I have a video here as well, but basically, charts let you put graphical information, much like I showed that dashboard last week, right? So that's how you build charts, and multiple types of charts exist. There's actually 15 different styles of charts that exist. The discussion board is going to be all about what of those types do you prefer or think is most useful. A lot of people find pie graphs to be quite useful because it gives you a visual representation of how much of the greater whole is a given thing. Other ones are are back to like line charts, which is what this is. This is a line chart with fill in. So this here tells you a burn down chart by using a line chart. There's lots of different ones out there. Be creative. What would you use for a family budget kind of thing? So what would you want to see for how your money is handled? Be a percentage. A lot of people do percentages or via pie charts. Some people do it via a stacked bar chart for different topics, such as budgeting of bills versus food versus rent or mortgage. So some of the examples of various charts in there include column charts, line charts, bar charts, area charts, and Excel provides a quick way of doing it by quick styles. So you can go design, format, layout, chart, plot. Those are types of elements you'll find on a chart. I don't remember if I had a picture of it inside of here, but I will maybe bring up that thing here in a little bit. But basically, in within a dashboard, you'll find when you're creating a chart, you'll have different things you can modify and alter. Axis has to do with X, Y, Z, and how it's displayed. A legend is how you can label certain things in an area of something. You can give colors or names to various things based on the use of the legend. So there's lots of different options. there is something. Let's see if I can actually go do that. I have Excel up on another window, so I'm going to pivot here to real quick. There you are. Okay. I assume you can see the spreadsheet now at this point. But inside of it, when you create a chart, you have like various aspects of this chart you can do, right? So, but if I wanted to say, change the chart type to something else, I can, let's just say stacked, right? Or a line chart. So in here, this could be a filter you can use for saying you only want to show certain pieces of it. But no, don't do that. Yeah, I don't do this often, by the way. But this would be like the title here. You can title it however you want. You can change various aspects of it, how it looks, how it feels. You can even show what, if you wanted to show what the dots are and what the values are, or if you wanted to show it by type or name, you can turn on aspects of it. Or if you need to turn on the legend. So in this case, the red lines refer to, and not useful in the legends context, but the red line dot, that refers to a point. That's where a legend is pointing to a specific spot on there. But anyways, there's lots of different things you can modify within a chart itself. Let's go back to the screen. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go in there, you can create charts fairly easily. Just take the data from a spreadsheet like this here, like I was showing you here in a sec, this, and you could say highlight this area, right, with the column headers on your data table, on your data list, and you can say chart up here, and you can say you can either insert a column chart or you can create a chart. And I'll just in this case do an insert of, let's go with the pie chart because I can. Come on, computer. That did not work. Just create chart. All chart, pie chart. Let's go with that kind of pie chart. See what it does. That's weird. Let's do that. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I failed. Another thing you can be done is, let's get on presentation mode here, is that you can use share that screen, share, yes. Is that you can do something like OLE, where in a non-OLE, it's just a picture that you can make bigger, or in this case, this is a layout of a basement work that I had done earlier this year. And if you do an OLE, why did this not suddenly work? So all kinds of problems today. Well, in OLE, you can actually modify the embeds in there. So it's possible to take like a PowerPoint chart and embed an actual spreadsheet into it. So if I did something like, let's just temporarily make a new table because I can, new slide. I can either just paste this, which is a spreadsheet table, directly into thing, so it's just a straight table, or I can paste as. And then I should have rebooted my machine before I started this. As an embedded table, which you can then click on as an OLE, and it actually brings up an Excel spreadsheet within the PowerPoint. Assuming you can see that. That you can then make modifications directly in the cells and do everything you want to within the cells. So as opposed to being a straight table, you can then make it into something you can actually have formulas in there. And with an OLE, you can have it linked back to your source spreadsheet so that you can build Word or PowerPoint graphs that actually interrelate back to Excel and auto update the actual formula. So not just treating these as individual cells, but you can have formulas that then link back to other spreadsheets or whatnot. So you can build a slide deck, for instance, right? That every time you load your slide deck, it'll auto update all of the fields based on whatever the latest version of your Excel spreadsheet was. So that's where OLE comes in useful in that context. It's really good within uh, usage of it inside of Word for reports or standardized templates of PowerPoint packages for um, showing off management. When they want to, you build a standard reporting stuff or presentation stuff, so you can have it start sucking in data for you automatically. Let's go back to full screen mode. Go there, you go there. I should have rebooted my machine before we started. Too many other things in there. It's still causing it to slow down. Okay. But in that case, right, so the data itself doesn't really matter with the Excel spreadsheet. It's just that you can set it up so that you have embedded tables so that they can be automatically updating for you whenever you're opening up the new system, if it's an OLE linked system. So, but from visually, from a presentation standpoint, people wouldn't really know the difference. So, because you can tell here by these two things, you wouldn't be able to know the difference just by looking at it within the spreadsheet. But the fact that I could click on one and or they behave differently based on whatever it's doing, that's how you really know if it's an OLE or not. It should be noted that if you build OLEs or embed full spreadsheets and whatnot into a file, your files get bigger than it would be if you just paste it as a graphic. So, or as a bitmap. So that's good to keep note of. So if you start building Excel spreadsheets or PowerPoint packages that are like, 30, 40, 50 meg in size, or a gigabyte in size, you at least understand if you were maybe if you were inappropriately pasting things into it, that's how sometimes those things get bigger unnecessarily. So you can go there and fix it and reduce size, or which could impact work from home type issues or your internet connectivity for uploading or saving if it gets too big. So that's why it's often best to do paste as instead of just a straight paste. So that way you can control how your things get put into files. So how does linked data in destination file relate to the original data source? Well, whenever data is linked, a dynamic connection is created between them. So that's where the OLE comes in, right? Because that manages the linking of its object link embedded. That manages how that data connection works between the two files, and to ensure that you can have that information synced up between them, right? So source data cannot be moved from its original source without causing problems. So basically, if you move a file that was from one place to another, you can cause broken links to occur, and you get these errors for broken links all the time, or updates won't occur with certain files once you start doing that. So OLE can be supported by lots of different things. There's lots of programs out there that now support it. You can even use OLE type technologies with stuff like uh, Oracle databases into Word, or you can do it between uh, Google Docs and Microsoft applications. I think they've now got that working again. You can do it between all of the Office products. So it's not just an Office specific capability that Microsoft built. It is now being adopted by lots of different programs and lots of different applications in order to allow business logic, business production to be done in a more efficient manner. So hope that made sense. Is there an easy way for a chart to always be correctly formatted and designed? Using charts, I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet again. This time, I'm going to put the spreadsheet on a different screen though. So Okay. So if you take this basic list of data and you want to turn it into a chart, easy way is go up there, create chart, and then it'll tell you what kind of chart you want to create, right? So I'm going to do it as a 3D stacked chart. That should then create I'm going to do it based on that type. I want to base it on the year. No, okay. That didn't do what I wanted to do. Let's go back to make another chart. Well, this is when you turn on and off elements, by the way. Not quite what I was looking for either. So it's probably good to probably pay attention to what this is telling you, because that'll give you kind of a feedback on what it's looking like based on your data there. So let's create a pivot chart instead. So when you have this, a pivot table, basically took this data and turned it into something that it altered the axis of how the data was labeled out, and then started providing you with filter options that you can use to automatically update charts in this context, or automatically change the way a view of a report started looking at. So while a sum doesn't make sense for a year, you can see that people within first year, now this should have told me the number of students and not exactly the student level, but or the year, but yeah, I'll have to play with that later. Figure out what I did wrong with the spreadsheet. But anyways, you can use this to build different types of charts, different looks of charts, different styles of charts, and how they would end up being in there. And you can label them and adjust it as need be. So where was I going with this question? Get back to yeah. Excel can you use for data solving processes or problem solving, because you would be able to use the data to analyze it, to visualize it, and with that produce formulas in order to then figure out how to solve all problems. But remember that data garbage in, garbage out is also effective to telling you what's wrong with your data, but it's also making having bad data doesn't help your ability to visualize it. So obviously you just saw me use an example where I just randomly took a spreadsheet I had sitting there and tried to do something with it that didn't accomplish what I really wanted to do, which was show you how to make charts pivot correctly, but not from the lack of data, but in that case was garbage in. I was using the wrong kind of data, or the wrong layout of data in order to get my intended result there. Data validation is used to help ensure that you have the correct information and whatnot you have within each files or each set, and to make sure you have a appropriate data setup so that you have the ability to tell where errors are, and you can filter out using with it as a guide. So you can turn on validation as needed. So if I go back to that spreadsheet again, just one to do. Show you how the validation then works and what happens when you get both good and bad out of it. Come on. So if I'm going to do data validation, it's under data validation. In there, I can say, all right, turn this from being any value allowed in these cells to a list of values. And I can say the source either on the same spreadsheet or on a different spreadsheet of what valid items can be. So then if I go over here and I throw garbage data in, it'll come back and tell you that that's not valid for the cell. So I can have this, and additionally, it'll give you a pull down so you can select valid data in that context as well. Now, if I did remove duplicates on here, it will also fix, oh, my range is not right. So let's go check my, let's go change my data validation so that it has a correct range now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 years. Go back here, change this, wipe out the current stuff. Now has the new, every one of these now has a pull down. List. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So now it has this 6 cells here is a pull down, a blank at top and a blank at the bottom. But it also tells me I have these types of options be there. And if I, like I said, if I put in garbage data into my data validation, it tells me it's wrong. So, and tries to go back to what it was there before. So that way you can tell by through various data validations whether or not you can get correct data being allowed in and out of your spreadsheet. I hope that all made sense. You can also set it up so you'll tell you by circling it when you have invalid data, you would check against the whole spreadsheet so that you can look for where problems are as well. I kind of wish you could do it with conditional formatting. That'd be even nicer. That way I could have it like auto turn everything red if it's wrong within a data validation cell. That'd be nice to be able to do, but I don't think they've implemented that yet. So at the most basic level, Excel provides the means by which to do data correction and to ensure it to be able to be a problem and help you with doing what is analysis against your business cases. So you can produce the logic needed to make correct decisions over the life of your need. It can be used as a solving tool in lots of different ways. Excel, you can also script Visual Basic Language scripting into it as well, so that you can use it to perform advanced functions by programming logic into it, either as not just formulas, but also as an example of you can have in Word, for instance, right? You can have Visual Basic Logic go in there and say, all right, to remove all deleted comments from a red line document, right? So you turn on track changes, you have adds, deletes, you have inserts, you have format changes, and they're all come up as little notes all along the system. So you can use that in order to get rid of like all your deletes, right? Well, you can do the same kind of thing with Visual Basic as an example inside of Excel. So it's the idea of track changes inside of Excel is hard. It is a feature that does exist. Not one I ever recommend you using though. Macros can help with problem solving. They are means by which you can make repetitive things occur with either several different actions occur with the case of one button click or not, whatnot. So macros are useful in a lot of different ways too. So some updates. Well, I've already posted all of the Muse links now at this point up into the learning material and on the announcements page. So, but these are additional links that are specific to this particular one. If you want to go through it, it's useful for the discussion and the chapter 5 part of the workbook itself that you get as the textbook to the course. It'll help you along with IntelliPath as well. That covers everything I wanted to go over today. Is there any questions that anybody has at this point? All right, well, thank you for your time, and I hope you found this useful and you got a chance to laugh at me for screwing things up. Hey, we're all human. So, all right. Well, thank you, class. We'll talk again later. Thanks. Bye.